Yes, good evening, people. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. Normally, purely Spurs chat, so I'm actually glad for a little bit of a break. I'm sure some of you are, especially all the people that realise how bad Ange Postecoglou is. No, top middle is not Ange Postecoglou. It's a Nottingham Forest fan called Wolfie. He looks a little bit like him, and in the top right-hand corner, some have called him Jurgen Flop because of his likeness to Jurgen Klopp. Listen,
you know what?
serious
Charlie looks a little Tuchel-like as well without the beard.
Yeah, no, I've had that a lot. I've had that quite a few times at games. Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So across the top, we've got a really good Champions League winning manager in Tuchel, Jurgen Klopp, who's a Champions League winning manager, and Ange Postecoglou, who's won the treble with Celtic. And then down below...
It's what we do, mate.
Do you ever get any lookalikes? Are you ever told you look like someone?
Anyone that is mixed race, apparently I look like I literally, anyone, anyone. Drake, DJ Khaled, like literally anybody that has the same skin complexion, I look like them. So
DJ Khaled, I can see that, Hooks. I can see that, bro.
I've had it all.
Your private jets and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's even good. I remember once when I was at uni in Portsmouth, I was in a bar and I got told I look like Will.i.am as well, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like so many.
Will.i.am.
What? I'm so many shades away from. Maybe it's the alcohol.
Oh my god!
Sounds like a good
Shades
film.
of Hook.
50 Shades from Will.i.am. That sounds like a great film to watch.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah,
good. I won't tell you who I get likened to, but anyway,
you have to now. Come on, Savva, you have to now.
Every now and then I get messy, which I don't think I do.
Messy?
Okay, mate.
Sometimes I get Alexis McAllister, which I don't think I do either.
There's a little bit there.
Sometimes I get Anthony Costa from Blue. So listen,
that's the main one. Yeah, Costa from Blue. All rise. Yeah.
I wonder what he washed up to. Now we know.
Anyway, everybody.
A smidgen of Harry Kane.
On my own, Harry Kane.
Nah, man. You can't say that to him, man. You might as well call him Brad Pitt.
Only a little smidgen. Only if I was to squint.
Wow. I mean, when I play football, I finish like Harry Kane. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but anyway, look, let's talk some football, guys. Welcome to someone said Tommy Robinson.
Oh wow,
that's mental.
Welcome to the Collective, a brand new panel show every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. We're going to be talking all things football each week, whatever's happened in the world of scores, transfer news, any drama, any delusional takes. And some people on here are very delusional. I'm looking probably more away from Charlie. The other two on the top row are both very delusional. Today, we're going to talk about Arsenal-Newcastle that's coming up tonight, the first leg of the Carabao Cup. We're going to talk about Liverpool. Are they champions-elect? Or are Wolfie's Nottingham Forest going to do the league a favour and make sure the title race stays alive for all? Are Man City going to slowly but surely creep their way back into it? Chelsea, talk of titles, they seem to have fallen off a cliff. And Tottenham, we'll move on. Hooks, let's start with you, mate. Arsenal versus Newcastle tonight, League Cup semi-final. No Saka. The new golden boy, Nwaneri's injured as well. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask Hooks, and then we'll all talk about it. I'm not going to go round in a circle. Has Arteta got to win this trophy for you in terms of, it's been a number of years now, 850 million pounds. Has he got to land a trophy this year to have some respect as a top-level manager?
To have respect as a top-level manager, definitely he has to win a trophy. But to have my respect as an Arsenal manager, he needs to win a major. Like, I'm of the camp of, like, I don't care if you win me a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. I mean, it's great if you do. I'll celebrate it. But for you to not, if I was your boss, for you to not receive your P45, I need a major. Yeah. I mean, the way that I like to put it is, for us to be in this kind of process, and for after 5 years of being in this process, you're telling me that I leave with either a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup? I mean, hey, I'm not one of these new age Arsenal fans. I've been about for a minute. That's not enough for me. I need the big leagues. Yeah, I've been 20 years, 21 years since I've seen my. Actually, yeah, no, but wait, yeah, 21 years, yeah, 2004 since I seen my club lift the big one. Yeah, do this. Yeah, I don't know how much more I can take, if I'm being completely honest. And
so should he get sacked then? If you don't win the league or the Champions League, in your mind, is it, even if he wins the FA Cup or League Cup, it's thanks very much, what you've done, but let's swap you out for someone better?
Yeah. No hard feelings, none of that. And look, don't get me wrong. Even though I think he should be sacked, if he isn't sacked, then cool. I support my club. We go again? See what you do in the window. See, I'm not one of the fans that constantly cry and scream to get the manager out. Like, if the club decides to keep him, then they keep him. We go again. But if I was your boss and you didn't bring me the major, goodbye, mate. Because it's becoming a joke now, in my personal opinion.
But the project's not to, the project with Arteta and spending all that money and stuff is not to win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. The whole point of this is to get the Premier League or the Champions League. So for me, I look at it and I think I never want to call for managers to get the boot or whatever. But I think you've got to be realistic. This season will be his third proper crack at the Premier League, right? Man City are seemingly out the picture, yet Arsenal kind of dropped the ball a little bit with Liverpool getting a bit of a march on them. I'm not saying they're fully finished in that, something could happen, but it's perhaps not likely. Champions League, Arsenal haven't got the pedigree in there. I just think Arteta's had a number of goes now. He's proven that he's probably not the guy to get over the line. So if you're going to get over the line, you're going to have to bring in someone that knows how to do that. Because I think three, if it goes to this season, 3 goes at it is pretty fair.
Yeah. I think that's too many. He should have gone up.
Here he is. Look,
I'm serious.
The first half, the top half of the table for the first time in about 30 years. And, it's too many. Give him 1 year.
No, I think after he blew that 8-pointer, when was it, 2 years ago, you should have got rid, man. Because I don't think, forget just the title, it's the recruitment. I think the recruitment at Arsenal has been pathetic. From an outsider looking in, man, it's been clear you've needed a 9, bro. I mean, we've talked about it before. But, and he's just anti a striker. And, he's just bringing in more defenders. I saw a stat the other day where you'd spent most of your money on your defense. And then you bring in Jesus, who's meant to be, he wants to come in as a 9. And he's like, no, I'm not a 9 anymore. Play me on the wing. You bring in Havertz, who you brought in as an 8, convert him up to a striker, and he's just a plaster on it. It's the recruitment that's been shocking for me. There's been too many duds.
Can I ask you then, Hooks and Wolfie then, where does that lie? Because look, I can talk about my own club and the theories of who's in charge of what, but I can't tell you about your clubs. Is that on Edu, who's obviously gone, or was that on Arteta, or is it kind of mixture of both?
I think it's definitely a mixture of both, but I would, for the striker at least, I would pin the blame more on Arteta. And the reason why I say that is because I think that he doesn't like egotistical people inside of the club. I feel like that's something that he kind of changed within the culture. And you see that with how he got Aubameyang out of the door. But the problem is, the one position on the pitch you kind of want your player to be egotistical is the 9. You kind of want the 9 to be I want it all. I want to score the goals. I want to be Superman. That's the position you kind of need ego. And maybe Arteta's avoided signing a 9 because he can't find a 9 that is good enough, that doesn't have an ego and won't kind of the little everything that he's trying to continuously build at Arsenal.
Looks, man, you've just let stuff go. I look in the summer and think, why the hell didn't you get Tony? going to Saudi
Oh.
would have cost 40
Well,
million.
they looked at him though. Like I think there was
Yeah,
they had a lot of concerns about his attitude. I think that was probably the same with a number of Premier League clubs. Like we were linked with him as well.
You looked at him, yeah.
Man
We were
United,
linked with
I
him.
think, would have looked at him. And I'm not saying all three clubs have come up with the same conclusion, but I think certainly from Arsenal's point of view, and Hooks might correct me if I'm wrong, there were definitely doubts about his attitude and how he might fit in around the place. But I would have thought Tony to Arsenal would have been a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? He scores goals.
I think the wages would have been the biggest problem with that. He probably would have spoke to the Saudis. They would have told him, we're going to give you 400 grand a week. And then he's probably turned around to you guys effectively and said, I want close to that. You've all gone, no, nothing done. So I think that was probably more to do with he'd had the offer prior to getting one from you guys.
But if there was legit an offer on the table, if there was legit an offer on the table from Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
I might be wrong here, but Ivan Toney probably would sign for Arsenal for half the money that
100%.
Saudi would give him to go to Arsenal. If that was legitimately there, but that never even got there. I mean, there was bids didn't even go in for him. So
yeah, I agree with that, Charlie, because he can still go to Saudi in like 3 or 4 years' time. They will still pay him whatever silly wages it is. It's always on the table. How old is he? 27, 28, something like that.
He's 28 now, yeah.
Yeah. But at that age, you're in your prime. You want to be in the spotlight. And where's the spotlight? It's the Premier League. Who's crying out for it now? In Arsenal.
Do you know what Arsenal need, Wolfie, right? Arsenal need what Man United did when they signed Robin van Persie. Arsenal need a Robin van Persie again.
Yeah.
Like when
Man United shout a name out to you, Hooks?
Go and get him. Like they need someone to come in, give you 2 seasons,
ready-made,
win you the Premier League. Arsenal need a Van Persie like when United signed it. I mean, I don't know who that guy is, but that's what I think they probably needed.
I think there's 2 players that would suit Arsenal down to the ground, and that's Jonathan David. He's a freebie at the end of the season, and Santiago Jimenez for Feyenoord.
He's coming Forest.
Is he really? If he does, mate, he will score goals.
Do you think both of them? See, listen, I think both of them are decent. I like Santiago Jimenez. Jonathan David, I'm hit and miss with.
I'm with you.
The question I'll ask is, I'm not saying they're not good strikers. They, for me, feel more like Spurs level strikers. Should a club that is going for the title, and that is Arsenal's ambition, do you think those 2 names are enough to elevate a club from there to there? Or do you think that would be more? I'll chuck a name back at you, Puxty. For me, Gyökeres. That, for me, is the one that lifts you pace, power, goals, assists.
Okay. I get that.
I'll just chuck it out there.
But I'm going from the thought process of how Liverpool did it. Everyone laughed when we bought Sadio Mane and Mo Salah for 40 odd million. Everyone laughed. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking these guys. Jonathan David is second top goal scorer in France, but he plays for Lille. And then you've got Santiago Jimenez, who's been out most of the season, and he's got more goals than everyone else in Feyenoord. Like, they are 2 players. If you put them in the Arsenal side, or even if you put them in the Liverpool side, give them the service, they will get you goals, because it's the quality of the player. I don't care about the league. If they can put the ball in the back of the net, they should still be able to do it on the bigger stage.
That's
I think, are they big enough players? I mean, I'll ask everyone else then. Are they big enough players? Because I think there's a huge difference between being a good striker and being like, let's look at Erling Haaland, right? People can belittle Erling Haaland all they want. That guy scores goals for fun, right? That guy, it doesn't matter. He can miss 4 or 5. He's going to score 2 or 3 in a game, right? I think the difference this year between Arsenal and the top is that, again, I think you haven't got yourselves a Haaland that in those tight games that can go, boom, 1 touch, goal. I don't know. I might be wrong, Hooks, but I feel like you need that. You need
we need a name.
With the crop.
Like we need someone that's.
But then you're saying you need a name, right? And but then you say you need a name, and you digress. It was only last season he was playing at Coventry,
but he was still doing well. I respect.
Yeah, but then so is Jonathan David, and so is Jimenez.
Yeah, but Hook's got one name on his mind. He's got one name on his mind, man. Geordie. Swedish Geordie.
Yep. See, for me,
Oh, mate, if you got him, different story.
That wins you the league. But I think like it's fine to like a Jimenez or whatever. These are good, and a David, right? These are good players, but they're good players if you're like, for example, like, you know, when Liverpool first couple of seasons under the clock where you're rebuilding and you're looking to get back to challenging. When you're Arsenal and you're almost there and you just need a missing piece, I don't think those players take you from just being shy of the line to getting over the line. I think those players can help you.
How? Because they're better than what they've got.
Sure. But I mean, like a Jimenez or others, right? I think they can get you to a certain level where you're, you know, if you're rebuilding a team and you're looking to get up to challenging, I'm just not sure if they would have the required quality to take you over the line. I think, like Hooks, you were linked with Sesko last summer, right? I know they ended up staying at Leipzig, but there was heavy interest there. I mean, do you like if you looked at going back in for him this summer coming up, is that a player that excites you? Is that a move that you think would be good for us?
We
probably will. This is why we probably didn't go and sign another striker, is because Arteta's probably got, like, he's like a pit bull. Like, when he locks onto something, it's what he wants. Like, we saw him go back in for Jorginho after wanting him in his first season of signing at Arsenal. So I think we're gonna go in for Sesko again. I mean, there's a picture out there somewhere where he leaps like 10 foot into the air and his foot's above his head, and you kind of understand why Arteta wants him, because he's all about physical players that can leap into the air and work with all of that.
And isn't he only a 43 million release clause as well?
Yeah, and he can play off the left as well, which is where, like, Arteta's always looking for. This is why I think Isak works really well for Arsenal. Like, if you was to say to me, who do I want? There's only really 3 strikers. That's Isak, Gyökeres, or Vlahovic. I would take any of those 3. Actually, do you know what? There's someone else I would take. I'd bring him home, Harry Kane. I would take him at Arsenal.
That'd be brilliant.
If the situation, but we need someone of that level. We need someone that's going to come in and, like, bare minimum 15
Harry Kane.
Yeah, bring him home. Bring him home.
My boy Harry's going to go and play for you lot.
Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home.
Bring him home.
Didn't he wear an Arsenal shirt first out of the
It's
team?
the only time he celebrated a Prem was with Arsenal, with an Arsenal shirt. So bring him home, man. Bring him home.
Wait, he's an Arsenal fan.
He was in the academy there.
Yeah, bring him home. Bring him home, man. You've
not seen a picture of him, Wolfie? Like that's done around quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about Kane, man. He's long gone. But Hooks, serious question, right? Like, for me, you need to go and get Isak. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Arteta won't do it because that's the statement of intent. That's the statement to say, we are Arsenal.
Can anyone go and drop 150 M's on him?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Why not? They dropped how much on bloody, what's his face? Havertz. 65.
Yeah, but you still
Rice, 110 or whatever. 110 on a CDM. Come on. Like, show. I guarantee you, well, at least I think, if you turn to every Arsenal fan and said, this window, we just get Isak and nothing more, would you take that, Hooks?
Wait, when you say this window, do you mean January?
Jan, yeah.
In a heart.
Oh, yeah, of course.
In a heart.
Absolutely.
I thought you meant the summer. I was about to fall off my chair.
Even in the summer, Hooks, wouldn't you? If I said to you, you're going in with this squad next year and Alexander Isak, but no other business, you wouldn't take that.
No, but you need more Savva though. They've got no Saka backup. The backup to Odegaard is not great either. Like, I think that'd be taken. Look, it would improve.
I hear that, Charlie, but the difference is.
Problem.
But my point is, if the alternative was to go and get 3 or 4 players and have another window like they've just had, and no Isak or Isak, and then
I hear that.
We anyway, look on the left wing. Like, I mean, I need more than that, man. I need more than that. I can't lie, I need more than that.
So you take let's say a Marmoush, and I don't know, a left back.
Would you take Nico Williams, Hooks?
I would personally. I would.
Hooks ain't fussy, man. Hooks, like, just feed him.
He's a threat. He's a problem. This is the problem. Like, this is the problem with Arsenal's players right now. Everybody wants the ball to feet, and nobody wants to run at their man. This is the problem. We need someone who, just put the ball in behind. I'm happy to run onto it. I will use my speed. I've got the ball. I will run at you every single time. Like, or this is the thing that frustrates me the most with Martinelli is his greatest strength is meant to be his speed, but not once in over a year have I seen him just kick the ball into space and say to the defender, "Hey, let's have a race. Let's race." Defenders don't like races. He never does it. So I need someone who's going to be a bit more direct. Hence why I would take a Nico Williams.
Well, Martinelli used to be like that.
Yeah, but then he died.
Then he died. Then he retired. He retired from playing football. Listen, last question, Hooks, before we move on from your lot. I mean, this is quite an interesting point. Big up to Finn. And by the way, smash the likes if you haven't already. Come on, people. We're getting Daniel Levy-like again in this Spurs community with likes. We're really tight. Let's be a little bit more Harry Kane when it comes to these ratios. Smash the like button. Please do keep subscribing. We're only 140 away now from 15.5K. And please subscribe to each one of my guests. I am going to sporadically put all their links to their channels into my show. Please show the love. That's what YouTube should be about. You got Hooks. His channel is Halftime Hooks. Puxty is Liverpool is Red. I'll put his channel in there as well. He's just started, so let's get him to his first 100. Forest Fan TV, they're going after the 23K, is it? The next milestone?
Yeah.
23K for Forest Fan TV. And then Charlie, who's chasing down 15K, is that right?
Oh, I've passed the 15 now, so I'm on 15.1 or something. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, I didn't. My bad.
Just like his club, though. Just like his club. He's behind me in the league table right now.
Charlie's chasing down, like me, he's chasing down 16K. So please subscribe to each of them. I'll put their links in the chat. Show the love, people. Show the love. Hooks, last point on Arsenal. I mean, I think Finn makes a good point here. Is the worry for you, though, not so much that you finished twice to the powerhouse that is Man City, but in the year that Man City are having their, we could call it a midlife crisis, their rebuild, their meltdown, whatever you want to call it, is that you're now not the team that have capitalized on that. It's his lot up there, the Liverpool lot. Is that the problem?
No. So, like, the thing about Man City falling off and Liverpool capitalizing, like, it doesn't really affect me because I don't walk into the season with a divine right that Arsenal should win the league, even if Man City was to fall off. I understand how competitive it is. That's why I understand why someone would make that point. My problem is you could always make that excuse. We could go 6 years down the line and you could make that excuse. Oh, Arsenal finished second to an amazing Man City, or Arsenal finished second to an amazing Liverpool, or Arsenal finished second to an amazing Chelsea. Like, so you can kind of always make that excuse. So it's like, when does it end? Like, when does the cycle stop? Like, when do we stop making these excuses? That's more the problem for me, because we could, for example, we could finish this season on, I don't know if it's still mathematically possible, but I'm just going to throw numbers out there. We could finish on 90 points and Liverpool could finish on 91 points. And I'm pretty sure there's a large population in the Arsenal fan base that instead of going, we failed, will go, but Liverpool only got one more point than us. You know, we pushed them all the way. It was really difficult. So I just think sometimes you just have to, you get bit by the snake. You have to cut the arm off. Do you know what I mean? To stop the venom from spreading. And that's where I feel like Arsenal, we're getting to. We just need to say no. We need to stop. Like, we have to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, he can't get us over the line. Just maybe.
Exactly.
I still think you're being really harsh on him, to be fair. Like, because again, coming from a similar point, when he took over, you were fucked. Yeah, safe to say, right? So the first 2 seasons was him getting you back to a stable place. So I genuinely think last season and the season before, where you come second twice, is where you should judge him from. That's his start, because like when Klopp took over at Liverpool, we were in the same position as you were. The club was going nowhere, and he took him 18 months, and then that's when I judged him from. We just so happened to win the league 2 years after, amazingly, because we just blew everyone away with 25 points clear at Christmas, So, but I think, mate, you got
slipping in a little Liverpool.
2 seasons
about how good Liverpool are into every single conversation. Love it.
I think there's a generational thing.
Only speaking facts.
I don't know, Hooks. Would you agree? There's a generational thing. If someone's of your age, I know you're mid-20s, right? But like those who have seen the Wenger, the Invincibles, and all this, have standards. The younger generation look at it and think, well, we saw that crap. We saw under Emre, blah, blah, blah. This is all right for us. Do you think there's a generational divide here?
Not only is there a massive generational divide, there's also a divide between analog fans and internet fans. So like fans of Arsenal that existed in the analog times where we used to our teletext to find out all of our news, and Arsenal fans that grew up with an iPad in their hand. Like it's like, I can't blame them. I honestly can't blame them, because if you became an Arsenal fan, because it's not even really about age, right? If you became an Arsenal fan after Arsenal won their last league, then you're looking at what Arteta's doing and going, this is the best I've seen. Like, yeah, you've seen a few FA Cups here and there, but in terms of league, you're like, maybe you could argue the 2015 season was 2015 when Leicester won the league. You could argue
16.
We had the with the Sanchez, we could have won then. You could argue that. But other than that, like these last 2 years under Arteta is the best that an Arsenal fan would have seen in the Premier League. So I can understand why they're trying to look at the bigger picture. But when you're someone like me, who I've seen the bigger picture and I know what it takes to get the bigger picture, you start questioning a lot of things that the manager does, and then it just becomes weird. And then God forbid, my opinion's different to anyone else. Oh God, it's like they want my head on a pitchfork instead of the manager, and I'm like, whoa, but I'm just one human that has no impact on your life.
It gets to a point though, doesn't it, Hooks? Like if you go down that route, how many times can you keep saying, oh, let's give him one more chance, let's give him one more chance, oh, this year's going to be the year? Like I get the point that Puxty made about, technically really it's only you maybe don't judge the kind of the years where you were eighth and that. He's now got you challenging. It's been 2 challenges, ultimately 2 failures. Like maybe he deserves more than just this season if he doesn't land a big trophy. But there's also a danger of going down the route where you just keep making those excuses. Oh, we got close. Oh, it's this City team. Oh, but then Liverpool go and win the league. So then what would be the excuse this season if Liverpool win the league? You get to a point where you just keep saying, oh, it could be this year, could be this year. He comes second or whatever. Where do you draw the line at that point of thinking in terms of
exactly? And Charlie, you see others progressing quickly. Look at Newcastle, bottom of the league. When what's his face took over. Look at Villa, 17th when Emre took over. Look at Forest.
Look at Forest.
I mean, can I ask a question? Why do we? And I want to kind of hopefully seg this this way. That's not a word. I want to hopefully make this a segue into kind of what where Chelsea are at the moment. Why is it in football nowadays everyone thinks that every single time a new manager goes to a club they need 5 years? Why in an era where hardly any managers get 5 years are we all thinking project is the great word, process 5 years? Like I saw like Lee Gunner put a post out, real lovely for his post and that, and he said we need to stop this bullshit. We need to stop this bullshit that every manager needs 5 years to make a club winners. Now, to a degree, I think he's right. There's some I don't think like a manager goes into Brighton and we should say right, go on year 2, go on win a league. But when we're talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, should it take 5 years? When we keep like the word project, Charlie, project this, project that. But
it depends on where your starting point is.
Yeah, that's also fair.
Yeah, sure, but you mentioned there, Puxty, about you said to Hooks about the where Arteta picked Arsenal up from, but that was a very long time ago.
Yeah,
Since then,
4 years ago, right?
Well, it was
5 years ago, wasn't it?
It was 5 years ago.
I think they were 8th, weren't they? I mean, that's not low.
I mean, yeah, they were 8th. He didn't pick them up like they were Wolves.
Relegation fodder, yeah.
It's still, listen, I hate saying this as a Spurs fan. They're Arsenal. They're Arsenal Football Club. They're massive. They win trophies year in, year out normally. Surely you can't say he needs 5 years.
But when Arteta took charge, they were nowhere near that. So he had to have two seasons to get rid and get rid of people who weren't fitting the mould and his idea. As Hook said earlier, you've got to have the right mentality to play for this guy. So he had to. But you had Sanchez on big wages. I'm sorry, not Sanchez. Ozil on big wages. Aubameyang on huge wages, and they were players he inherited. So he had to get rid of them in order for money to be available.
He didn't have to get rid of them. He didn't have to. I bet they'd take Aubameyang back now. At least he knows how to shoot.
Do you know what the problem is? This is my problem. Yeah, is cool. I agree in the sense that there was a lot that needed to be gutted at Arsenal, and somebody had to rebuild Arsenal in a new image. But my issue is you've had the time and effectively should have built something by now that can go on and challenge, but you haven't. But you was able to win something with the gutter, with the trash. You was able to win something with the trash.
Yeah, I get that point. Yeah.
Wasn't his team, Hooks? Wasn't his team?
To be honest, though, I think right, 3 years. If let's say that Arteta gets to the end of this season and there's no Premier League, no Champions League. I think 3 years with a squad that is capable of winning the Premier League, because Arsenal are capable of winning the Premier League with this squad. I think 3 tries at it is more than enough for a manager with a winning squad. So that for me is where I would draw the line in terms of, we're not talking about picking up a struggling side. Oh, he's not won anything in 2 years. I think from a point where you've got a squad that is capable of winning and has proven that it's capable of winning, then I think 3 tries at it is more than enough time.
Yeah, but Charlie, the average lifespan's 18 months for a manager in the Premier League. So how can you sit there and say give him 3 years? That's double the lifespan.
He got that time because he's Arteta.
Yeah, but hang on.
Okay, what's he done? He came from nothing. He was an assistant.
He's Arsenal. That's why.
To my tell me if I'm wrong here. The year before, didn't Emery have you guys? Chelsea played
Arsenal, fifth,
right, in the Europa League final. You guys played, didn't you, in the Europa League final? So, when we're talking about he's picked up Arsenal, they're a complete mess. Still managed to make a major European final
and finished 5th.
Still finished 5th. Still left a squad that went on to win the FA Cup. Look, I'm not saying managers don't need time, but I can't be a hypocrite. I hate that Ange Postecoglou's picked up Spurs and people are going, give him time. In 18 months, the man's done absolutely nothing. But Arteta, I think, stabilised them. Then the season after was very underwhelming, the same position. And then since then, second. Surely this is the year where you go, right, you've got nowhere else to go, right? You've got to go. The only place to go from second is first. Like that
he's a transitional manager, bro. He's a transitional manager for me. What he did to stabilize Arsenal was perfect.
But who do you get in?
He cannot get him over the line.
But who comes in and does that?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who.
It does kind of matter.
Who's going to come in? You lot at Liverpool are saying who can replace the irreplaceable Klopp. I haven't heard Klopp's name in the last 7 months from a Liverpool fan.
That's because the Liverpool owners did their research and got the right guy.
Okay, so, Hook's ain't getting paid to do his research. I'm not getting paid, definitely not getting paid to ask his research. That's on them to do it.
I'll chuck a few names.
If Arteta goes...
I'll tell you who I would take.
Go on.
In a heartbeat, I would take Diego Simeone.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, I would take Inzaghi from Inter Milan.
They were my two. Hooks. Yeah.
Zidane.
And in a heartbeat, not so much Zidane. My take on Zidane is Arsenal are never gonna have the level of player that he had at Real Madrid. I don't think he does.
He's waiting for France or Real Madrid return. That's all he's interested in.
He wants a ready-made winning squad to walk into and go, hey, I'm Zizou. You know what I mean?
Greatest player of all time. Greatest manager of all time.
My final would be Nagelsmann. In any of those 3, I would happily take Arsenal. And I'm not saying...
Go a step further. If you wanted, say they were unrealistic, like within the Premier League, you could look at Iriola at Bournemouth. You could look at Silva at Fulham. These are all managers who I think are ready for the next step. Look what they're working with. What?
Savva, would you take Iriola at Bournemouth? That's
a good shout.
Oh my God! Sorry, yes. Oh my God, yeah. Listen, I'm not going to talk about Spurs too much, but for me, I'm taking Silva, Iriola, Frank, Glasner. I I think we've got the worst. Shut up, you. I think we've got the worst manager in the league. I've said this before, right? If Ange Postecoglou, and we will move on because I don't want to talk about Ange. I spent all my life talking about Ange.
I thought we were here for Spurs, mate. I was confused.
If Ange Postecoglou picked up 14 of the 20 teams in this Premier League, he gets them relegated with his style of play, right?
Yeah.
He truly does. If he picked up, look at teams that fight for their lives or a lower half every year, Wolves, Palace, those sort of clubs, Everton. If he went there and played this gung-ho football, he hasn't got a chance in a relegation battle. So
do you know what?
I'll take Iriola.
He might win them the league.
Mate, would you take Poch back? Would you take Poch back?
Oh, all day. Do you know what? Iriola gives me Poch vibes. Iriola for me gives me Poch vibes. Okay. Look, I want to segue into Chelsea. Talking about managers who have come and people talking about it's a new project, it's a new process. Guys, where are we all at? I'll start with you, Charlie, and then let everyone else chime in. Football fans, we are at our best knee-jerk, right? We are at our best deluded, and we are at our best so ridiculous with our opinions. It's crazy. And Chelsea is the best of this. At the beginning of the season, it was like, Chelsea are rubbish. Chelsea, who is this manager? They've got nowhere near winning a title. You had a really good start after 15 games, and it was Chelsea are in a title race. Chelsea should be winning a league. You've not won for 4. Now, all of a sudden, it's Chelsea have flopped. And it's madness. Where should Chelsea be, Charlie? And are they underperforming or are they about right?
Mate, we're exactly where we should be. Like, if anyone had said to me or other Chelsea fans in January, you're going to be in 4th place, everyone would have been taking it and everyone would have been happy with it. I think you also got to have perspective as well. And we've lost 4 games all season, right? That's not bad. Now, if we won, I think we were unbeaten in 6 games. It was 5 wins and a draw before this 4-game run. If you take one of those losses and you stick it in that 5-game unbeaten run and you put one of those wins in this 4-game run, the perspective suddenly shifts. It's only because we're looking at it that you've had 4 bad games in a row. Whereas if they're a bit more spread out, no one's really having the same sort of conversations about Chelsea potentially drinks. I think perspective's key. Look, make no mistake about it. The last 4 games have not been good enough. But having said that, we should have beaten Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace didn't outplay us. We created ample opportunities to win that game and didn't take them. So I look at Chelsea right now. I'm disappointed with the last 4 games. Of course I am. And the buffer that we had to 5th place has eroded now, and we're a point ahead of Newcastle. But we're exactly where I expected us to be. I said we were going to finish in the top 4 this season. I predicted 4th at the start of the season. We're in January and we're still and we're in 4th place. So I can't really have any complaints from my point of view as to how the season's gone so far. But the last 4 games, make no mistake about it, they haven't been good enough. But
too many ifs, buts, and maybes, Charlie. If this, if that, if that. You were not better than Crystal Palace. I thought Crystal Palace was the better team in the second half.
Do you see how many chances we missed in that game?
Did you score them?
No, but what I'm saying is...
so it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter.
Nottingham Forest fans, they are on... I'm just drinking honestly, that man, this is Charlie's delusion. They're all over everyone.
Wolfie,
this is Charlie's delusion, man.
Game, right? How many chances did we miss in that game? Nico Jackson, 2 chances.
How many did you score? How many did you score?
We scored 1
goal.
Okay,
end of discussion then.
Yeah, but the reason why we didn't win that game was not because Palace were better than us. We didn't win that game because we didn't take our chances. That's
the
why we
better
didn't
team
win.
won every time. Man City would be undefeated this season. You're chatting rubbish now, bro.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. Because the reality of the situation is, yes, we didn't take those chances. What I'm saying is, I'd be more concerned if we'd created absolutely 0 against Palace. Right. Well, I'm obviously concerned that we've taken 2 points and scored 2 goals in our last 4 games. But for me, the biggest problem we've got at the moment is not taking our chances. So I'd be more concerned as a team if we weren't creating anything. I'd rather create the chances and not take them than create no chances at all.
I'm hearing this so much in the Chelsea fan base. Honestly, the reality is you lot are scared.
Is that wrong, though?
No, you lot are scared because you're happy clapping this. That's what you're doing. Because you'll say, if I ask you about the Ipswich game, I bet you give me the same spiel. Oh, yeah, we created chances, but we didn't put them away, blah, blah, blah. This is now a pattern of 4 games. You lot were too scared when you were running high to say you were in a title race. Give me
we
top four.
though.
Give me top four.
But
That's all
they,
we want.
Wolfie,
We're never
hang
in a
on,
title race.
hang on. I'm going to stick up for Chelsea here, right? And all my in-laws are Chelsea, right? So I get loads of stick from them, as you can imagine, right? Yeah, I know. It's hard work. But right, hang on. For me, going into this season, I never looked at Chelsea's squad and their manager and said, that's a title-winning squad. I thought, yeah, this year you've got to get top four for sure. Got to get top four, but no one talked about them winning the title. Isn't the problem, Wolfie, that they did so well, almost too well, better than everyone thought, and then all the fans turn around and go, title challengers. And then what we do, we're brilliant because it's banter, right? As soon as a team does badly, we go, look at you guys, like you've fallen off.
Yeah, but Savva, were you saying that about Liverpool pre-season? Were you saying that about? I did. I had them down second to finish the season. I had Liverpool to win it, Chelsea second. Wow. But were most people saying that about Liverpool pre-season, saying, "Oh, this is a team that challenges"? The point is, expectations changed throughout the season. Most Forest fans wanted Forest between 12th and 15th. Now we're sitting third. Expectations change. And this is 16. The thing with the Chelsea fans. We as Forest fans are sitting here saying we are in mathematically a title race. We could finish top four. Finishing now outside of Europe would be disappointment because expectations have changed. Chelsea fans, on the other hand, are just saying, we're happy to be back. Please don't look at us. Yeah, we'll try and sneak through the back door. If we win the title at the end of the season, we'll tell you all that we thought we were in a title race from the start, but they are too scared to say we have improved, we are where we are, and we should be challenging back where we should be. They're too scared to do that.
No, because Wolfie, we're not going to look for us, right? We were 12th under Potter. We then finished 6th under Poch last season. We're not going to. The next step is to get back to becoming a Champions League team again. Like this team, I've been in title races.
Why? Where's this book you're reading of the order? Did Leicester think that? Did Leicester think that?
I've watched Chelsea win titles, and I've seen my team be in title races. And I know when we've got a squad that's capable of challenging for the title. We don't have a squad that's capable of challenging for the title.
Do you think Liverpool had a squad before the season started of challenging for the title?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they almost.
Where did you have Liverpool then? You had them to win it.
No, I had them second behind City.
Okay, so they weren't going to win it.
Hang on, Wolfie. So hang on. Who on earth would look at Liverpool's squad and say, whether you say they're going to win it or they're
title-winning squad,
winning it, these are two very different things. Liverpool's squad is bloody good. Let's not have any revisionism.
Why didn't you have them to win it then? Why didn't you have them to win it?
Because hang on. Sure, hang on. But I had Man City to win it, followed by Arsenal, right? But that doesn't mean that those two teams couldn't win it just because I didn't. Do you know what? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know. And it comes back to my point on expectation. Expectations change during a season. They do.
So, sorry, just so I'm clear. So the Forest expectation now is what? Top four?
Is Europe.
So is it Nuno out? Wolfie, you Nuno out if you don't get Europe?
No.
What? Then what's
Why would I be?
Yeah. So what we're saying is,
your expectations have changed. If you don't get Europe,
wait. Well, Wolfie, what do you mean by that, Wolfie? What do you mean by that?
By what?
So you're saying that if Nuno fails, he shouldn't be sacked.
Fails in what sense? Pre-season expectation or current expectation?
Oh, no. We're not going to do context now. You said expectation throughout the season.
Yeah.
Now, if you finish outside of a European place, it's failure. If Nuno fails,
I didn't say failure. I said against expectation. It's not failure. There's a big difference.
Live up to your expectations. What happens to him?
He does it again. Like Arteta gets his process. You're not going to sack Nuno from going 17th to 9th in 12 months, are you? Fans' expectations will change throughout the season. Liverpool's expectations is now to win the league. The majority of people were not saying Liverpool to win the league pre-season. I don't understand why this is so complicated.
It's not complicated.
You're saying that if I predict Manchester City to win the league, that I'm saying no one else can. I'm not saying no one else can.
I didn't say that.
Right, okay. So because I didn't have Liverpool to win the league, doesn't mean if asked that I'd say Liverpool win the league, zero chance. But I just think Man City are better because of years gone by, because of squad, because of blah, blah, blah.
Agreed.
Right.
But now, would you say Man City are going to win the league?
Well, no, it's a huge mountain.
Again, because expectation adjusts. This is my point. This is what it is to be a football fan. It's fluid throughout the season. It changes. It does.
You've got to have a degree of common sense to go with this, right? This is exactly the same, Wolfie. Look at the beginning of last season. Me and you were chatting at this time, right? Beginning of last season, Tottenham are top after 10 games of football. And there's Spurs fans going to be...
11th game, Savva.
Shut up, you. Right? This is what really like. We all know. Do you want to know what happened in the 11th game? Hold the line, callers. This is exactly what happened in one picture. This is what happened in the 11th game.
There it is.
Right? No. Spurs decided to play all their players on the halfway line with 9 men. But look,
Cucurella's offside there, no?
Pardon?
Cucurella's offside there, no?
Yeah, well, that's what we were hoping for, Hooks. It worked for about 10 minutes. Look, the way I see it is this. When we were top after 10 games, listen, people could turn around and have your theory, Wolfie, that, well, expectations change. Yes, but common sense has got to tell you there's a difference between being in good form and being capable of sustaining said good form, right? Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, these big clubs are capable of going on 15, 20 game runs where they win 15, draw 1, lose 3 or 4, whatever. Probably less losses. Tottenham are not. This Chelsea squad is not. No offense, Charlie, but your squad is not there yet. So them having a really good run that puts them in the top 2 or 3 after 15 games, you disagree?
I vehemently disagree. I think anyone...
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Anyone that looks at Chelsea's squad and the quality that they have, especially in their midfield and their front line and the depth that they have, because if one person comes out, it's not like, for example, it's not like with Arsenal, if Saka comes out, it's now I'm looking at Martinelli, right wing. Do you know what I mean? Like, quality's in there and then quality comes come on, like these are the same Chelsea fans that are telling me that Caicedo's been the best midfielder this season, and you know if Lavia's playing,
not a chance.
The best double pivot, and then Enzo Fernandez is now looking like the player that they signed for like 115 million, and then you got Neto, and then you got Palmer. Do you know what I mean? Like Felix and Nkunku.
Have they got? Can I counter that, mate? I do agree with you. I do agree with the sentiment of the strength in depth and the numbers. But for me, I think the difference is when you look at Liverpool, when you look at Man City, these two clubs have the winners. They've got the experienced winners in there. I've said for years, like anyone who's listened to me talk about Spurs, about Man City and Arsenal for the last few years, people say, why won't Arsenal win it? And I've always said, because Man City have the manager with the experience to get over the line, right? They've got the players that have done it year after year to get over the line. I think Chelsea have got a bloody talented squad, but I do think it's a very young squad without 2 or 3. They haven't got a Virgil van Dijk, a Mo Salah. They've not got, do you know what I mean? I think there's those 2 or 3.
They think they do.
Yeah, but that's fans over-regging, isn't it?
In the league, in the world at one point.
And Cole
Palmer, like, do you know what I mean? So
we have got good players. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's not quality in the squad, but from my point of view, I look at the squad, right? I think we've done some very good recruitment, but I also think when we've spent as much money as we've spent, to still need a goalkeeper, a centre back, a centre forward, and maybe even a number 6 potentially, to still need essentially a spine of a team when you spent as much money as we have. For me, is that doesn't make sense. How you spent that much money and you can still need 3 or 4 players in key positions. You know, that to me don't make sense. Like for me, we made a mistake in the summer, and it's great to sit here with hindsight and look back at things and say, oh, you know, I didn't say any of this in the summer, by the way, but when the evidence change, your opinions can change, and the evidence has changed.
What was that?
So for me, in the summer, it was a mistake to sign Joao Felix. It was a mistake to sign him. We should have, because that then basically has ended in Nkunku at this football club. and we don't have an alternative to Nicholas Jackson. Now, I'm not saying that Samuel Morodion was the answer, by the way, but we would be much better off with an Omorodion in the squad than Joao Felix in the squad, because we have got no alternative to Nicholas Jackson up front. Now, whether you rate Jackson or not is beside the point. I think he's got 9 Premier League goals this season. He's on course to score more than the 14 that he scored last season. That is going to be a good return. If he gets 15 or 16 this season or whatever, that is a good return. The problem is, the problem is not Nicholas Jackson. The problem is not having an alternative to him. The problem is not recruiting someone that can play instead of him. That is the problem. The problem's not Nicholas Jackson. The problem is not having an alternative there. And that's where we've made a big mistake. Now, we obviously pulled the plug on the Omorodion deal. We decided not to go and get another striker. Christopher Nkunku is not the answer at number 9. And we've got the young kid, Mark Guiu, who we signed from Barcelona, who at 18 years old is nowhere near ready. So I think we made a big mistake there. You also make mistakes when you make decisions gambling on the fitness of Reece James, Romeo Lavia, and Wesley Fofana. 3 top players, right? But 3 players who have shown they cannot stay fit for anywhere near the course of a season. We made decisions with Wesley Fofana to keep him there. And we lost Thiago Silva. So, all right, Fofana comes back from injury, but we lost Chalobah as well to Palace. Disasi is worse than Chalobah, and Tosin is worse than Thiago Silva. So we actively made ourselves worse defensively in the summer in terms of our options. In midfield, it's all very well, it's easy to sit here and say now, but we shouldn't have let both Ugochukwu and Santos go, given Romeo Lavia's fitness issues. So there's a lot of mistakes that were made in the summer for me, which is why the squad is in a condition that it's in. It's not in bad condition, by the way, but we are still 3 players short in key areas. And that, for me, is why I always maintain we weren't title challengers, because we haven't got all the pieces of the jigsaw.
Charlie, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? You've bought 6 billion players, spent £1 billion.
Well, hold on.
Do you know how stupid it sounds when you sit there telling us that you spent £1 billion and you need more players?
Yeah, we do. Because we've not
spent. You guys have bought a fair few players as well.
We didn't spend $1 billion. My point here is they're sitting there saying they need more players instead of asking the question of who was in charge of the recruitment of those players you just mentioned.
It's a sporting directors. Like, they have to take
responsibility. You didn't say that once.
Yeah, but they have to take responsibility for that. And
have they?
Well, I don't think they've come out and done a couple of interviews patting themselves on the back, but none of these guys ever come out and own up to mistakes. But for me, it's obvious. I think all of us here are intelligent. We all know football reasonably well, right? Or we like to think we do. Everyone knows that Chelsea. Charlie. Everyone knows that Chelsea need a striker, right? Everyone knows that. Everyone knows we probably need a top goalkeeper, and everyone knows that we need probably maybe a number 6 and a centre back or whatever, right? That for me is it's unforgivable to spend the amount of money but this is my point though, it's unforgivable to spend the amount of money we've spent and still need essentially the spine of a team. That's mad. But like someone in the chat said, about lack of midfield depth. There is no midfield depth because we spent 30 million quid on Dewsbury Hall, who's about to fuck off 6 months after signing from the club and not starting a single Premier League game.
That doesn't mean you haven't got. Just because he's leaving doesn't mean that you haven't got.
Exactly.
I'm finished. So Dewsbury Hall's going to leave, right? He was never trusted. So look, the options we have, right, are obviously Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia. Those are the 3 main guys, right? But when Romeo Lavia has proven that he cannot stay fit on a consistent basis, when Dewsbury Hall's not trusted, when Cassidy is going to leave, when Chukwuemeka is frozen out and not part of the plans, Lavia has proven he cannot stay fit. In hindsight, it was a mistake.
We all need the violin.
Exactly. It's embarrassing.
No, but
it's embarrassing. You got Andre Santos ripping up trees. Obviously, not when he was at Forest, thanks to Cooper. But you're there complaining about your midfield. You've got one of the hottest midfielders.
He's not coming back because we're not like.
Whose fault? Whose fault? It's not our fault. Don't blame us.
I'm not saying it's your fault. But what I'm saying is that decisions that were made in the summer have affected the squad, and now that the key players that we gambled on to stay fit aren't fit, it is now affecting the team.
But that's the gambling on Lavia to stay fit was like the odds.
Oh, absolutely, Hooks. I agree with you, bro. Like, that's my point. Like, to make those decisions, make those decisions based on those players staying fit, as good as they are, you cannot make plans in the transfer window based around players staying fit who have shown they consistently cannot do that. And that's where mistakes have been made.
I just think.
Okay, let me ask the panel. I want to ask the panel, right? And then I want to move on from Chelsea. I'll start with you, Hooks. Going round, where does the panel think Chelsea should finish with the squad they've got, and where do you think they will finish? Should versus will. Hooks?
I think they should finish third. That's where I predicted them anyway at the start of the season. And
okay,
I think they'll finish anywhere from third to fifth. Third to fifth is where I have them.
Okay,
right
so pretty much where you've said in and around that space.
Yeah.
Hooks, bonus question. I'll ask everyone. If they don't make Champions League football, has it been a failure of a season for Chelsea, even if they win the Conference League?
Ooh.
Can only win what you're in, right? That's why we win the Audi Cup. We win what we're in, right?
I say, yeah, it's a failure because let's be honest. If Chelsea don't win the Conference League, it's the biggest disgrace to ever happen in football.
Oh yeah,
the biggest
for
disgrace
sure.
to ever happen in
Hooks,
football.
we've all got to go for Chelsea. If they do not win that, Conference League,
they have to.
You've got to. They've got to. There's
Mate,
no
I'm
one.
going to be at the bus parade when we win that Conference League. No shame.
You've got to be a massive club to win it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got knocked out of our Conference League group.
You didn't even. Yeah, I was going to say, Savva, what's you boys didn't even make it out the group. When we win
no
the
one expects us to win trophies. It's why we're mocked. You're Chelsea.
When we win the Conference League,
mate.
we're going to be the only team in history to have won all 3 European trophies, and I don't think anyone else will do that.
But then that's because you won't see the likes of Liverpool in the Conference League.
No, that's also fair. But yeah, no, I agree with Hooks. Like, if we miss out on the top 4, that's unacceptable. You know, third season into this, whatever this is under the new ownership, if we miss out on the Champions League football, that's unacceptable. Even if you win Conference League or whatever, that's the bare minimum. Like, for me, if we don't get Champions League, it's a big problem. But look, I still think we will. I think we'll finish 4th. This season. I tipped us to finish 3rd, but I think we'll come 4th. One thing that might help us out as well is that hopefully, Savva, you boys can help us out a little bit with the coefficient, is that a 5th place might get Champions, is looking likely at the moment, 5th place will get Champions League in the Premier League. So I think that might help us out as well.
Anyone put any stock on Spurs doing anything?
You've got to do it for the Premier League, mate. You've got to do it for the Premier League.
Right, okay, so Hooks has said third should, thinks between 3rd and 5th. And Hooks, are they going to win the Conference League?
You better fucking win it. Yeah, but in my mind, they've already won it. The mere fact that they can win it with their second string team just shows you the level of the Conference League. So all my Chelsea friends, I'll be driving to their houses and knocking on their doors.
For sure. Puxty, where should Chelsea be finishing? Where will they finish? And will they win the Conference League?
To be fair, mine's are pretty simple. At the beginning of the season, I had them coming 4th. I still think they'll come 4th, and yes, they will win the Conference League. 100%.
Okay, so lots of Wolfie thinks they should be winning the league apparently, but go on, Wolfie. What's going on?
I put them down as 2nd. I think they will still finish 2nd. Because I rate Maresca. I saw what he did at Leicester last season. He's a good manager.
Can I ask, who did you think, like when you said 2nd, which other top clubs were you saying they should finish in front of?
Arsenal and Man City.
Really?
I got it on video, bro. Yeah.
I
can share videos. You know what I'm saying?
Wolfie, I'm not saying you didn't say it. I'm saying really in terms of, I can't believe you said it. Like you think Chelsea are going to finish above City?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Anyone else, just quickly, anyone else think they're going to finish above City?
No.
Where's the chest, Charlie? Where's the chest?
Well,
because if they do, it means you all think that Man City are going to finish
5th,
outside of the Champions League.
5th will be Champions League. So They'll still get it.
Will it?
Oh.
Yeah, fifth should be with the way that the teams are going in Europe. Fifth, it's not confirmed yet.
Unless Man U or Spurs win the Europa League, then it'll be 4.
No, it'll still be. No, you get 6 places because that.
No, you can't. Every country is limited to 5 in the
Champions League. They must have changed that then because Italy had 6 in Champions League when the year that Rome
last season.
Last season.
Did they? I think
I'm pretty sure
the rules 5.
Yeah. Go on, Wolfie. So you think they should finish second? Where are they going to finish?
Second. I still think they'll do second. I think they'll go on a run second half of the season. They'll strengthen in January, man. They'll sell another hotel, fund some money.
Charlie, you know what he's doing? Yeah, I can read Wolfie a mile off. He's doing the whole, well, I think they're the second best team, so that when you're not second, he's got something to punch you down about. I see.
Charlie thinks that. Charlie was happy with 40 points last year. You know what I'm saying?
Mate, road to 40 points. That was last season. Road to 40 points.
They win the conference, they should, but don't write Fiorentina off yet. Fiorentina will be enough.
The decent. But look, I think if we
Batiste maybe,
maybe, but if we get if we sign, I think we might sign a centre back in January potentially. That might help us out a little bit. Look, but I'm still confident we'll get Champions League football, whether it's 4th or 5th, whatever it might be. We'll qualify.
Just quickly, guys, I'm going to do some super chats just really quickly for anyone that cares. The Arsenal lineup is Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Odegaard, Partey and Rice with Martinelli, Havertz and Trossard. And Newcastle have gone for the same team that beat Spurs, other than I think Willock is in for, I think it was Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, he's suspended.
There we go.
So Jesus not playing?
Jesus isn't playing. No. Jesus isn't playing. Havertz, Martinelli and Trossard. Guys, I want to read some super chats and then we're going to move on to Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. I'm going to make this a completely Spurs-free show for this week. Let me have that grace, guys, because Spurs just, I'm embarrassed. John Lee has said, Arsenal, let's make trade. Give me Arteta, take Ange.
Imagine Ange at Arsenal. That'd be mad.
Look, do you want Ange?
Hell
do you want Ange? No?
No.
You don't want some gung-ho football with no defending?
I don't know how you lot still haven't sacked him, to be completely honest. So
Levy don't want to pay him off.
It's what they do, mate.
Me too. It's who we are, mate. It's who we are. Big up, John Lee. Really appreciate that. Joshua has said, big up panel. Hope you're well. On the topic of Chelsea, do you feel their standards have dropped to Arsenal under Arteta with process and project stuff?
Well said.
No, because the standards.
It wasn't fired by us.
But this is the point, though. Like for me, the standards at Chelsea are always the same. But at some point, you have to realise that you're not quite in a position to hit the standards that are expected, and we're working to getting back to a position to hit the standards.
The answer.
The standards haven't dropped. The standards are still the same. We're just not in a position to hit the standards yet.
I like that response.
1.2 billion though.
Okay, all right.
No, but again,
do you know what? The one thing I'll say in Chelsea's favour is I know they've spent 1.2 billion.
We've sold £700 million of players, so it's not actually a net 1.2 bill. That's what people always overlook.
I understand that, but my point was going to be more that it's, in years gone by, when you've spent the big money, you've gone out and bought ready-made, oven-ready cooked players that come in and destroy the league. I don't think Chelsea have done that this time. I think you've got a bunch of very good young players. However, at some point, when you do spend that amount of money, you have got to have a return, and the Conference League might kickstart that under your new manager. Big up, Joshua. Thank you for that. Joshua's come back in again and said, Forest fan, got his nuts on the line more than Chelsea. Joshua, let's talk to the Forest fan and see how big those nuts of his actually are. Wolfie, I saw you on a panel show the other day, and it was like you were literally like, it's like you didn't care. Everyone's going, Forest this. You were going, shut up, we're this, we're great. How good are you? How good are Forest? What do you think you can achieve? And do you think you can stay in a title race with Liverpool? Are you in a title race? What do you think?
Yeah, we are in a title race. Unlike Chelsea fans, we're not scared to say it. Now, a title race does not necessitate that you will win the title. Liverpool, Arsenal. What?
That wasn't what you were saying just now.
What? Let me finish. Let me land. There can only be one winner. There can only be one winner. Yeah. Last year it was Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. All three were in a title race. Man City took the title, but the other two were in a title race.
Only
all the losers.
Only Arsenal lost the league, though.
I'll be honest, right? For me, there is no title race. The title race is just a media manufactured thing to sort of just try and keep people interested. If you actually look at the table, let's be real, there's no title race. Come on, guys. There's not.
How can you say that, Charlie? We've got them next at the City Ground. We're the only team to have beaten them this year. We're the only team to beat Scotland in 2024.
To be fair, Wolfie.
Yeah, right now, for me, there's no title race. Now, if results change, there could well be a title race developing, sure. But I look at that, right? I don't look at the table now and think, oh my God, what a title race this is. Oh, there's a title race. I don't think there's a title race right now.
Really? Was there no title race when Arsenal were 8 points clear 2 years ago? Because they went on and won it, yeah?
Well, not at that point in time. I wouldn't have said there was a title race at 8 points clear, but things can change.
Everyone should have given up at that stage, is what you're saying. Man City shouldn't have bothered.
I'm just saying right now, though, I think a lot of title race chat is media driven to try and just keep people interested. But
the bottom line for me is you aim at the top. If you miss, I'd rather miss closer to the top than aiming like you are for fourth, miss that and end up in Europa. This is the point. This is the point. Like, aim high. That's what you need to do in life. If you miss it, at least the second prize is better than where you're thinking, Charlie.
Let me ask. I want to bring Hooks in here. I mean, Hooks, you can see the league table there.
Looks good.
You are, I mean, joint. I don't like this joint second thing. You are level on points with Nottingham Forest. Hooks, do you consider Arsenal to be in a title race at the moment?
Yeah, I say we're fighting for the title. But for me, I've been consistent the whole way through. I'm only looking at first place. Like, I don't really care what happens in and around that. I don't really care what it looks like in game week 10 or game week 20 or game week 25 or game week 32. All I care about is I need to win it. So as long as game week 38, I'm at the top, that's all I care about. However, and a thought came into my car. I was watching the Nottingham Forest Wolves game last night, and after that game, a little thought came into my head, and I don't know how real of a thought it is yet, but I think that we could potentially see Leicester Part 2 with Nottingham Forest.
With Forest.
Oh, talk to me more, Hooks. I like.
We've always got already top at this point, though, weren't they?
Leicester were on the same points as Forest after 20 games.
Look how upset you've made Puxty, Hooks. His face just went.
I can't believe that you just said that. I really can't. I get what you mean. I get what you mean about like the underdog fight, punching above their weight. I wholeheartedly understand that. I would agree if Forest were first. But they're effectively 10 points behind us. And I'll tell you how. We win the game in hand, there's 9, and our goal difference is so much better. There's an extra point.
Wait.
So, hang on. You can't just fabricate 4 points out of thin air.
I just told you how that happens. I just told you how that happens.
So you beat Everton last season, didn't you?
Hey, but
we didn't. No, but we're better this season.
We need to.
Okay.
Let's just come back down to earth a bit.
Good man.
You guys already kind of fumbled the bag a bit at Anfield with United. So why you Liverpool fans think the Everton game at Goodison Park is a guarantee?
Exactly.
Is completely beyond me.
I think it makes it more difficult now it's been rescheduled because it's going to be like a midweek near the end of the season. Everton could
be. It's in February.
It's in February.
It's beginning of February.
Champions League time.
Hey, I'm just saying, I think Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool, personally. Personally, I think Nottingham Forest.
When is that game? This weekend?
But look at
next game.
Look at the 10-point gap that Liverpool have at the top. Look at the 10-point gap.
No, but I just said to you how that would be possible.
-6 is.
I need an abacus, mate.
Okay, I'll tell you what then. So if we beat Forest, right? Yeah. We're 9 points clear. What's the goal difference?
The goal difference is
quite a lot of goal difference.
There we go.
What's the goal difference?
We're on plus 10. I don't know what you're on.
About
You're plus 9, mate.
Right, we're plus 28.
No, we're not. This is out of date. We're plus 10.
9.
We're not. We're plus 10.
So plus 10.
Hang on.
Still, you're not going to catch up 18 goals.
That's all right. We're plus 10.
The Premier League table's always live, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Plus 10 compared to their plus 28. You're right. That one does make a difference. You are correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, go on.
But those 18 goals make a difference because if you win every game and we win and like we win all bar one, so we're level on points, you're still going to be behind us. So effectively, that does create the extra point, as I say.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
Hang on, Wolfie. I want to ask a question. If from this position, right? So Liverpool was 6 points clear at the top of the table.
10, Savva, 10.
10.
But they were 6 points clear Saturday night going into their game with 2 games in hand, which would have put them 12 points clear, right? So they would have gone 9 points and then 12. They didn't, right? They didn't. They're only 6 points clear. If from this stage, guys, Liverpool do not win the title, is this the biggest? Now, Wolfie, we've had a debate before about. I don't really normally like the word bottling, but I'm going to make an exception because it's Puxty in Liverpool. Would this be the biggest bottling of all time if Liverpool don't win the league for this position?
100% yes. 100% yes. Because of the way, because Arsenal and Man City aren't at the levels that they were last season after 19 games. I would say then yes, it would be the biggest.
Your memory's too short. I mean, I like Newcastle, but it was Newcastle when they were 12 clear. 12 points clear is huge.
Yeah, Newcastle hadn't done it.
I'm talking about from the point of view.
Experience.
I'm talking about from the point of view that. I mean, yes, look, statistically, yes, the Newcastle won back then, but I mean, in terms of bottling from a point of view of, it's no offense, it's Forest. City have dropped off a cliff. Arsenal are not as good as they were and are getting a lot of draws. 2 games in hand that would have taken them, 12, 11 points clear. Surely if Liverpool don't win the league from here, this has got to be, one of the biggest bottle jobs.
I'd still say Arsenal, 8 points. The way they did it, because it was so late. It was so late.
Whoa. At one point, Liverpool were 9 points clear of Arsenal. So if Arsenal win the league, I'm sorry, it's the biggest.
But you had 2 games in hand at that point.
I'm saying
when the games leveled off, we weren't 9 points clear. It was 3.
But hey, in my mind, Liverpool aren't winning the league anyway. In my mind, they're not
this season.
They're not winning the league.
Hooks, who's winning it? Hooks, who's winning the title?
It's going to be very close between Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, or Chelsea.
The Kit brothers right there. The Kit brothers, man.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
And you know what?
Can I just ask?
Can I tell you why?
Are we? Look, we've got 12 minutes left, guys. So we'll just have a general conversation now about the Liverpool Forest top of the title thing. And by the way, everybody, please subscribe to all of my guests. Please do. YouTubers put in a hell of a lot of work. I know you think we just press play on a button and go, but it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Please do. Got some really good content creators on screen, and without each other, we're not really anything. So please smash the like on this show. Please subscribe to my guests. Please subscribe to me as well. We've had about 10 subscribers so far today. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
Savva, you've 15 likes off 200 as well, mate.
15 likes off 200. Come on, people. We should be on 300 likes by now. Guys. So, by the way, I'm on Big Up at 7:45 tonight. I'm on bigup.com doing the Arsenal Newcastle game. So please join me there. I'll put the link afterwards. Guys, are we, if we're going to say, Hooks has just said he thinks Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, are we completely ruling out then? If we're going to put Forest and Arsenal in a title race, are we completely ruling out Manchester City, who always from the end of Jan, beginning of Feb, go on their yearly 15, 20 game run?
I think it's dangerous to rule City out entirely. I wouldn't say they're not favourites by any means, but sure. I think it's very dangerous to say they've got absolutely zero chance and they're 100% out of it. I'd say they're maybe 60 or 70% out of it, but you can't write them off, because I think they're the only team in the league that is capable, as you said, of just saying, do you know what, we're just going to go and win 15 games in a row. No one else can do that.
Well, look at them, Charlie. I mean, Man City have got what? So far they're 6 points behind the two teams that we've just said could be in a title race. Now, I'm not saying Man City are the same as last year, but they are capable. We've seen it where they rattle off 10 wins. Hooks, you're right. Hooks isn't having none of it. Hooks having none of it. Why not?
What have they signed in January? What they get a few players in, Hooks?
If Man
not having it.
Nope. If Man City win the league from this position, all of us should sack our managers on the same day.
Would you be annoyed if City finish
every Premier League ground? If he wins it from 12 on the pitch behind in January,
all of us.
If City finish, let's say Liverpool win the league, right? Whatever. If City finish above Arsenal, will you be pissed about that?
100 million %.
Yeah.
Oh. I need to win the league. I'm upset whoever I finish behind. But if it's Man City, who in like the last 10 years, this is arguably, not even arguably, it's been their worst performance in any season. If Arteta dares to let Pep Guardiola finish above him, oh my God, I swear, I'll protest out the ground myself.
They're only 6 behind you, though, Hooks. It's not like,
I
mean,
it's
only
like
2 wins.
Yeah, but they have lost 7 out of their last 11 games, ain't they?
But this is City. Listen, it's City.
But it's only 2 wins for them. But
sure,
it means that it's 2 losses for me.
I agree. Listen, I don't doubt it. But are we right? I need to get a show of hands in the comment section, right, guys and girls in the chat, right? There's over 300 of you in here. I need to know: does anyone think that Nottingham Forest finish above Man City this season? And would anyone have any ideas of what the odds of that would have been in the summer for Nottingham Forest to finish above champions Man City? Even. 2-1 on.
No, what I'd say, Savva, is the only team that can come from that far behind to win it, in my eyes, would be City.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's the fear of the City factor, the aura. What I would say is, even if they don't win it, they're going to have a huge say in this title race. Everyone's still got to play them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have a say.
See, just
I think they're far too
transparency as the host, I will tell you what I think is going to happen. I think from this stage, Liverpool have to win it. They've got to. Right?
We haven't even hit third gear yet.
Yeah, well, okay, all right, big man. You calm down with your. We haven't hit third gear. Hang on. You know, don't say that after you've had a little wobble, right? Listen. Right, I think Liverpool have to win it from the position they're in. 6 points, game in hand. For me, they've got the best forwards in the country in terms of a collective. I think they've just got goals from everywhere. I think Virgil van Dijk's the best centre-back in the league by a country mile. And I think their midfield is so underrated with Gravenberch and my lookalike Alexis McAllister. I think it's going to be this, and don't all shoot me at once, guys. I think it's going to be Liverpool, City, and then I think it's going to be between Arsenal and Chelsea for 3rd and 4th. And then I think it's going to be between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle for 5th and 6th, with potentially Aston Villa. The reason why I'm saying potentially Villa is because Villa, depending on how deep they go into the Champions League, they're not used to balancing like when Spurs play in the Europa League, we can put out a weakened team. When Villa play in the Champions League midweek, they put out a full strength team. So that's my top 4. I think it's going to be Liverpool, from City, from Chelsea and Arsenal, Chelsea. There you go. That's my top 4. You can all cuss me at once. It's fine. Go for it.
You'll get demonetized if I say what I think on that, mate.
Look, Wolfie, come on. Look, I've just put you into Europa League, right? I've put you in Europa League.
Mate, I'm just saying, I've heard it all season.
Be given freedom of Nottingham if he gets you in Europa League.
All I'm saying is I've heard it all season. Oh, you're going to drop off. You're going to drop off. At what stage is it okay to say Forest are not going to drop off? Is it going to be game week 38?
Well, because it's not game week 20, is it? It's
not
game
halfway through. I agree, but people were saying it from game week 4.
If you beat Liverpool in the next game,
that's the key one. That's the key one.
That's the key one, because I think a lot of people, probably myself included, if Forest beat Liverpool, then you're like, okay, you know, this is maybe a lot more serious than a lot of us wanted to think, or a lot of us were prepared to admit. I think if you beat Liverpool, then the top 4, I think, is could be very much be a possibility. But if you lose to Liverpool, but again, it's no shame in losing to Liverpool. It doesn't really take you out the top 4 race or anything like that. So, but for me,
can I just say to you, right? Let's put it this way. And I know, listen, there's ifs, buts, and maybes. That's all football debates are, right? Is ifs, buts, and maybes. If Nottingham Forest, who's your next game? Is it Liverpool?
It's Liverpool.
Yeah.
They cut this weekend, the midweek games,
right? They go 9 points behind Liverpool, and Liverpool have a game in hand. And if City win their game at the weekend against Brentford, suddenly City are 1 point behind Forest with 17 league games. I don't care what anyone says. If City have a 1 point gap with 17 league games to go, there is not a chance Nottingham Forest match them game for game over the last 17 games of the season.
I agree.
I love a fairy tale. I think that's great.
I agree. But the other but is if we beat Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool's record at Forest was no wins until last year since '84, and then they cheated to get that win last season. So let's not forget that, right? They did cheat. They did cheat. So if Forest beat Liverpool, we go 3 points behind it. I'm still not saying Forest win the league. I am saying we're in a title race, but we blow the league title race wide open. Wide open.
You do.
Just quickly, I think so. The what if scenarios, I don't think we need to talk about them. I think we can talk about what we've already seen from Forest. Forest are the only team that have beaten Liverpool at Anfield. That's hard to do. That doesn't happen too often across a multitude of seasons, not even just one season, like a multitude of seasons. So I think that's a bit of prop that we have to give them. And then I don't know how many games. I haven't watched like all of Forest games, but I've watched enough of Forest games to know how they kind of play. And they'll hunt you down. They will get those goals, and then as soon as Nuno's like, okay, I'm happy with these goals, he goes, okay, let's just sit back now. Let's just sit back. You know, make it difficult for teams to frustrate teams and
Hook. You think
do anything?
Hooks, listen, I don't disagree with you, but I'll ask you this honestly, right? Do you think that Nottingham Forest between now and the end of the season with 18 league games to go, like if we had 10 league games to go, I get it. With 18 to go, do you think they get more points than Man City with 18 games to go?
It's hard to say. However, I implore you, go and look at City's fixtures, because they have very, very, very difficult games.
Sure.
Very difficult games. Like I'm talking like they've got like a 9-game period of they have to go to all of the big teams.
Congested as well with Europe, mate, as well.
With congested with Europe, all of the big teams. And now all of us are saying
Forest have done it.
All of us are saying Man City are gonna go and strengthen in January. We've all said it. But how much will they strengthen enough to compete on all fronts? Because let's remember, they're also in a very, very peculiar predicament in the Champions League.
Yep.
So,
I got to jump on some other stream, but
listen, listen, Wolfie, you jump off. I'm going to end the show in the next 4 or 5 minutes anyway, everybody. But look, I think it's interesting. Wolfie, thanks for coming. Everybody, please go over to @ForestFanTV. The link is in the chat. It's in my bio for this show as well. So please go over and subscribe. I know he's a little bit deluded. I know that we all want Forest to lose now purely because of Wolfie. But he's a great
Arsenal to win the league or Forest to win the league, mate?
Oh, Forest to win the league all day long.
There you go.
I don't think either of you are. Puxty, let me come to you, Wolfie. Much love, dude. Puxty, last couple of minutes. Going to end the show because I've got to get ready for my show, and I'm sure Hooks wants to go and watch Newcastle beat Arsenal tonight. So, Puxty, Liverpool. All of you guys were. Every Liverpool fan I spoke to was shitting a brick about, oh my God, Klopp's going and blah, blah, blah. Yes, you were. All Liverpool fans. I'm sorry. Every Liverpool fan I saw was going, oh, Klopp's going, blah, blah, blah. You're going to pretend you didn't.
No, I know I didn't because I did research. I looked.
Revisionism.
I did. As soon as Arne Slot's name came about, I thought, well, I heard of him previously because he turned Spurs down and he turned Chelsea down. So I already had heard of him, but I didn't realise actually how well he'd done his previous clubs. He's improved all three of the clubs he's at. He won trophies in the last club he was at, and which was effectively Arsenal and Man City last season. Being Ajax and PSV of the norm for over the last couple of years. So, and he's improved. And AZ Alkmaar, the only reason he didn't win something with them was because COVID. They were joint top with Ajax at the time.
Well, they've been this season.
So when you look at what he's done, and then I put that into Liverpool with what Klopp left, there was no doubt in my mind we were in a title race or potentially even going to win the league this year, because last season it was only the last 4 games that we ended up being out of it. So after 34 games, we were still in it,
let me ask
and
you,
it was the energy levels.
I want to ask you, and then I want to get the other two to get in just before we end the show in a couple of minutes. Are Liverpool better under Arne Slot than Jurgen Klopp?
They're different.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, but that's such a boring answer, Charlie. Like, we're trying to.
It is boring.
I want Puxty to say yes, so we can all go. Hang on. What? I'm only joking, Puxty. Different question. What's he got to win this year? Is winning one trophy enough with the squad he's got?
No, not now. No, not with the way that we're playing. Like what. We drew against Man United. We didn't play very well. Every team has an off game every season. And our off games this season were against Man United, and we got sucker punched by Forest. Forest didn't play bad, but we didn't play that bad either. They just did get a lucky break and they scored from it. But so well done. We've conceded 1 goal in the Champions League. We've won all of our games. We're top of the league by 6 points right now. Could potentially be 9 with the game in hand.
10.
So with the goal difference, the goal difference is essentially another point.
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
You know what I mean? So I look at it right here, right now. I mean, I put my money where my mouth was at the very beginning of the season. I did a £4.85 bet. Liverpool would do the quadruple at 1,500 to 1. So I put my money where my mouth is.
I love it. I put my money where my mouth is. I mean, look, Hooks, Charlie, Liverpool. What should Liverpool be winning? And are we seeing? Again, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm here to do. Are Liverpool as good as everyone's making out, or are they a team that have gone way too early, and we're not sure whether they're going to be able to sustain it over the last 18 games with the cups? Champions League, everything.
I think they're good. I think they are good.
Yeah. I think they're amazing. I think they're absolutely
amazing.
I think the one thing that Slot has done that I think is a lot better than Klopp is that Klopp was always at 100 million %.
Energy.
Always 100. Everybody's body's breaking down. Whereas Slot is a lot more controlled, a lot more reserved, and in moments, he's managed to get Liverpool to tap into that kind of Klopp energy and destroy teams on transitions. Like, it's actually amazing what he's done. So theoretically speaking, we shouldn't see Liverpool have a burnout because they haven't been burning themselves out crazily throughout the entire season. Sure. Now, what they should win, I think they should win the Premier League. They should. And I think that's the only thing you can really say that about, because I think cup competitions...
I think they'll win the League Cup.
It's way too difficult to say should. For
you think they can beat Spurs over 2 legs? The mighty Tottenham.
That's going to be well tough. That is.
Shitting myself over 2 legs.
That's training for us.
Absolutely. Because Just quickly, guys. Last thing, I do want to win the show in 60 seconds. So Tottenham are playing Liverpool tomorrow night. Do you guys think that I keep hearing that Liverpool are going to rest players and it'll be half a team? But then someone made a good point the other night where why would Liverpool in a semi-final rest players when their game at the weekend is Accrington Stanley?
That's the rest. That's the rest.
Yeah, that's the rest.
Yeah, see, I would. I
agree.
I'm happy for Liverpool to rest players, even though the players you're bringing in will still be capable of beating us.
Just like Tamworth's your rest at Savva, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, like, in theory, it should be two strong teams. It should be two strong teams tomorrow.
Do you know? Look, the last thing I'll say. Look, first of all, I've really enjoyed the first show. I really have. Before we go, look, here is please. This is Hooks. Is link. Please get over. Show love to people, man. Like everyone puts a lot of hard work into it. There is Wolfie's. I mean, you gotta love Wolfie. How can you not love it? The chest is huge on that man. I mean, Forest have been crap for about 400 years, and now the chest is massive. Here's the link as well to Charlie. So please do get over to Charlie at Blue Brother CFC. And then please do help Puxty. He's only just started his channel. He's finding his way. He's finding his feet in this crazy, crazy world of YouTube. Please subscribe to him as well. And of course, please subscribe to this guy. Guys, I'll leave you with this thought. Tamworth, who Spurs play on Sunday, play on an artificial pitch. And their most dangerous weapon. Do you any of you know what their most dangerous weapon is?
No.
The pitch.
They've got a guy called Tonks, 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 who is like the Rory Delap of non-league with his throws. I'm already picturing long throws into our box, complete mayhem, and some bloke called Jimmy Jones or something. It hits his ass, goes in, and Spurs are embarrassed. I'll leave you with that thought. Charlie, thank you very much. Really appreciate you, mate.
Thank you for having me on, Savva. Pleasure as always, mate.
Always. I'll see you next week. Hooks, thank you so much, buddy. It's the first time we probably worked together, so thank you very much, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Always. I would say good luck to your team tonight. I'm absolutely not going to do that. Puxty, your first ever panel show, mate. Thank you very much.
Good fun. Thanks for inviting.
Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone. Listen,
take it easy. Nice to meet you guys.
The link I'm putting in now, guys, the link I'm putting in here is, this link is to bigup.com. If any of you haven't been on bigup.com, it's a stream, it's a watch-along streaming service where I do all my non-Spurs watch-alongs. I'm doing Arsenal, Newcastle. I'm starting in 8 minutes. Make that 10 minutes. Please do come and join me. It's a good laugh. There, you can put gifts in the chat and everything. It's amazing. Take care, everyone. Much love. As always, Levy out. Ange Postecoglou out. But come on, you Spurs.